This is Brindlewood Bay, the Ninth Step, Part 7. There's nothing to recap presently because our tablet is cleared, the slate is fresh, or something, and we're ready to get moving into the winter Christmas season in Brindlewood Bay. I do think it would be good to check in with the Mavens, though, and just get a sense of conditions and things. Rosemary, I think you're still stuck with suspicious.
Not getting rid of that.
Yeah, Doll, you can clear irritated if you want. Muriel, I think marked by Isaiah Langmore, and the answers you seek are in the briny deep are probably there still. Same with Alice being watched in shadows over your shoulder. So a few of the Mavens have some conditions stacking up. Yeah, I know. And we have 8 void clues currently, which is pretty good progress so far on the Dark Conspiracy. Is there anything else we need to cover? Like, anybody take an advancement lately they want to talk about or anything like that?
Go ahead.
I know Amanda took an advancement. That's interesting.
Yeah, I took now my moves are now Encyclopedia Brown, My Precious Ramotswe, and Nero Wolf. I won the big one at bingo. I won the bonanza. Yeah. So I got like a fancy house now and a houseboy. His name is Gerald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we established all that last time. Yeah. We haven't seen it yet, but that's good. Okay, great. If there's nothing else, then I think we'll just dive right in with cozy vignettes. If you've marked a shadow in the garden, don't forget you have to add a creepy element to your cozy vignette. And this is a Christmas cozy vignette, so think holidays. Whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I think the camera comes to Alice at a Christmas tree farm, and she's doing photos with Santa, but she's taking the photos of the family and everything like that. And as we one second, let me change my name. And as we see her like taking more and more photos, like she's holding up, different things to get kids to smile. Santa's talking to kids. There's a decidedly probably androgynous very person that could be either way playing an elf. And just the whole 9 yards of Christmas. And as she keeps going through these photos and getting ready to like develop, like get them packaged together to get developed and sent out to the families, she keeps noticing in each photo the child just staring past the camera, and the camera zooming in more and more on the child, and then back to normal photos every time.
Doll is sitting in her favorite chair next to her favorite window, her favorite place to knit and listen to the police radio. And she's rocking back and forth on her chair. She's knitting stockings for the rest of the Mavens. These are the traditional stockings that I know every Newfoundlander has, which are a Mary Maxim pattern. And she's very delicately trying to stitch in everyone's names at the top of the stocking. As we watch, and she's manipulating the needles, they start to splinter in her hands, and blood starts to run down them, making the names on the white yarn just written in cursive in blood. She shakes her head. The camera flicks. And no, it's normal. Nothing happened. No blood. Everything is beautiful red yarn on a beautiful white background. And Doll sets her knitting down. She figures she probably just needs a cup of coffee.
Rosemary is unpacking her version of Christmas ornaments. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Christmas in July. This is July and Christmas. So there's just like these like collections of snow globes of like Christmas themed like tropical island paradise sort of types of things. Like she has an inflatable like palm tree in the corner. And yeah, I think as like she's just prepping all of this, I think it comes to the realization that all the windows have been covered up with newspaper print. But if you like, as the camera just pans on back as the room, you realize that all the walls have been covered with newspaper and it's forming intricate patterns of spirals.
Meanwhile, for a completely uncrown of the voided Muriel, we find ourselves in Muriel's cozy cottage, which there's a nice coating of snow outside on the windowsill. You know, her herb garden out back is untended to. It's empty because the winter season has arrived, but she does have her indoor windowsill succulents and herbs she does manage to grow despite the wintry season. She is currently in the midst of kind of chopping some herbs up into a nice savory herb butter that she is using to cook a lovely Scotch pie. Also just kind of making some nice like warm meals for herself, hearty winter food. It's all, if you look very closely, it's all very like pub food. It is grandma's pub food. So it is all meat and dough and delicious fat. And she is, you know, in there with her apron on there, which boasts a large Christmas tree decoration in complete tartan pattern. And yeah, she is just, you know, cooking and tending to these sweet and savory herb mixtures and eating lovely meals, drinking herbal tea while staring wistfully out at the snow. And in the background, whereas everyone else is having dark entities, in Muriel's background, you just see like basically like hogshead casks of imported ales that she's had shipped over. She is preparing to throw later this month a hogmanay, which is a riotous Scottish New Year's celebration, which involves fireworks, drinking, and a lot of chaos. And indeed, there are drinks and stashes of fireworks that you can kind of see in her background.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. All right. So our mystery is called Have Yourself a Merry Little Murder. Christmas is approaching, and that means it's time for the great holiday gala. This year's gala is special because the venue, the BelCanto Concert Hall, is celebrating its 50th anniversary. The Holly Stamp Card Company sponsors the gala, making their mark with their banners and a display of limited edition keepsakes and ornaments. The gala fills the week with choir and orchestra concerts, community dinners, board member functions, and finally, the gala ball and charity auction. Celia Domingo wants to pamper her favorite great aunt, who I think is Alice, with plenty of tickets and backstage passes to the gala. A little question to sort of establish things a bit here. The week-long gala has something for everyone. What aspect of it do you each look forward to most now that you have access to everything because of Celia's all-access tickets?
I'm looking forward to the children of Brindlewood Bay singing all of my favorite Christmas carols. So adorable to see them up there trying to remember all the words and missing all the notes. It's my favorite part of Christmas.
Every year for this gala, there is a limited amount of food and snacks and drinks that are for these people. And all the time, nobody takes in consideration of the elderly women that got to take a little bit longer to get up there. And everybody grabs seconds and thirds before Alice can get up there. But this year is different because there's a special little meet and greet cocktail hour thing that's going to be rife with pigs in a blanket and Swedish meatballs and dips galore. And Alice, this is her year. She's getting some dip, finally.
I think Rosemary, she has attended these events before, but it's always been sort of like a bit of a mess because like she, in order for her to get them like sort of the tickets, she has to do like a bunch of volunteer work and just getting arranged sort of things. But this year she has to do absolutely none of that, and like every other people have to do it now, and now she can just get to relax and actually enjoy it instead of trying to like coordinate, network, and that sort of thing.
Muriel's always been furiously judged for her appetite and desire to sample all the delights available at a given place. But this year, with this all access pass, Muriel McGregor knows deep in her heart that she is going to spend so much of this gala sampling literally everything she can find, unimpeded access to every drink and hors d'oeuvre and food function they have. She's going to get the full smorgasbord, and she will be satisfied.
Now, that's all fabulous. Unfortunately, Miles Greaves, the beloved founder and owner of the BelCanto Concert Hall, passed away before the celebration began. Thus, this year, his family has gathered for both the gala and his funeral. To make matters worse, at the wake, Greaves's great-nephew Nathan made a drunken spectacle of himself and claimed Miles had been murdered. The next day, when the BelCanto opened to prepare for the first of the gala concerts, Nathan was found dead on the main stage, the cause of death an apparent blow to the back of the head. The possibility of a double murder during the biggest holiday event of the year is too juicy for the Mavens to ignore, and those all-access passes will be just the thing to help get to the bottom of what's going on. Now, Celia is going to give you a quick rundown of the most likely suspects, and although no one mentions it out loud, she herself is on the list because she had access to both Miles and Nathan before they died. And so part of what you might be doing here, Alice, is making sure that Celia is not fingered for this crime. But in any case, she will explain to you a few things, and you might want to note this in the suspects. The people who were around when these murders took place. Well, the one's definitely a murder. The other could just been dead of natural causes. We don't know. But the people who were around when Nathan had access to Nathan were, of course, Winston Greaves, who is Miles's son and Nathan's uncle. Alexandra Windsor Greaves, who is Miles's granddaughter and Nathan's cousin. Teresa Horn, who is Miles's daughter and Nathan's mother. That would be pretty gruesome. And let's see, those are the Greaveses. Who else was around? Possibly Rosella Swindon, board president of the BelCanto. Sam Cass, managing director of the BelCanto. And Howard Hawley, who is the marketing rep from the Hawley Stamp Card Company. He was there as well during the wake. There were other people around as well, but these are the people who Celia is sort of, as we kind of pick up the scene with you and Alice, or Celia and Alice, kind of like, she's kind of going over this stuff with you, Alice, and she's like, oh, Aunt Alice, this gala means everything to me right now, and I'm happy to be here to help make it the best it can be, but I thought I was going to be able to escape all the drama by leaving the city, by coming home. But it seems drama follows me wherever I go. And did I tell you? Ches is here.
Ches, that's the investment banker?
Well, yes, and my now ex-fiancé. Did I not tell you this?
Well, Celia, between the gallivanting trips that we all talk about, and you talking about the drama of the city and the drama of the country, town and country mouse kind of stuff right there. Ches just kind of got lost in the cracks,
Well, Ches had let's just say, an unfortunate encounter with Rowan. You know Rowan. You remember Rowan, right? Of course you do.
Yeah.
He says it was just a one-time indiscretion, but I called it off. And now he's here. He's here in Brindlewood Bay. He says he's here because he had a pre-existing obligation to the gala, but I mean, I think we all know why he's really here. He's trying to get me back.
Have you ever seen those old room post hall bookmark Christmas movies before?
Sure, yeah.
It's kind of reminding me of like that. Bear with me here, but like a young, successful, self-starting woman who's independent goes back home from the city, and then she's like, I'm just focused on myself and the gala and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, a paramour from her past shows back up and shows her the spirit of Christmas. And sometimes there's typically a prince or a bed and breakfast owner or a Christmas tree farmer kind of involved.
Right, but there's not usually also a murder. And so, I mean,
Well, we don't know it's a murder, Celia dear. It's just, we don't know if it's a murder. It could just be like an incident. Sandbags falling from the heavens, that kind of thing. Also, he was always a bit he was always a bit kind of clumsy, so he could have tripped over a wire. Somebody couldn't have used gaff tape properly, that kind of thing. Stranger things have happened. I'm really hoping it wasn't a murder. I know people are saying it, and I could really use a break from murder and mayhem in my life. It has been a stressful holiday season, and I just want to put my feet up next to a fire and just enjoy some children singing.
This is all just so much. I thought I was here to be reminded of the moral superiority of country life over city life. And now we have this. It's all just enough to make you want to say bah humbug.
Well, don't say that, because nobody likes a Scrooge, even if it's a Bill Murray Scrooge and he looks kind of nice in a 3-piece suit with some big lapels. But that was a different time back in the 80s, okay?
Well, if you and the Murder Mavens can at least confirm that it was an accident, that would be helpful.
I'll see if I can pull Muriel away from the 7-layer dip and the magic cookies and everything.
She really goes in for it, doesn't she?
I don't think she's ever really had Tex-Mex before. And so when people try to get a little bit, experimental around the holidays, Muriel really likes to try it out. I don't think she likes it, though.
Let's check in with all the other Mavens. I think you all are there. I think that this sort of first night at the gala, because it's a week-long thing, they had some performances, and now it's just sort of like mingling and socializing and fundraising and food and all that kind of stuff. There's it's really something. The entryway to this place. Let me get my little locations here real fast. There are enormous floral arrangements as you kind of go into this sort of central hall, the ballroom, so to speak. Enormous floral arrangements featuring poinsettias, lilies, and holly. Every handrail and banister is trimmed with garland. There's a phalanx of towering nutcrackers greeting you in the lobby. They've really gone all out for the 50th anniversary, right? The Holly Stamp Card Company display is just off to the side. You can't miss it. And there are people dressed up like elves, kind of like going back and forth and serving champagne, all this kind of stuff, right? It's a big, big affair. Everyone's trying to keep up their spirits, despite the fact there have been a couple of very significant deaths associated with Concert Hall. What are you doing right now, Dolly or Doll?
Criticizing the food. Now, back where I'm from, which is a small town called Dildo in Newfoundland, we'd like to have our Jake's dinner for Christmas. None of this fancy, flavorful stuff. Just take all your vegetables, take your salt beef, boil it all in a pot, and serve that with your dry turkey. It's delicious. I don't know why people are going to all this trouble when they could just have the peas pudding. You
I
know, in
think the
Dildo, we love our peas.
I think the person you're talking to will say is we'll say the person you're talking to is David Chen. He is actually sort of a voice talent manager. He's a very poised and practical person. He wears comfy cardigans and khakis and very shiny wingtip shoes. He's actually Celia's best friend from back when they used to, when they were younger here in Brindlewood Bay. He's currently the manager of a singer called Kath Spector. We'll get to her in a bit. And I think he's just like listening to you and he's like, Dildo?
It's a beautiful little place. I mean, it's a little wet sometimes, but it's honestly, you get used to it.
It's like, right. Okay. Well, I really hope that you and your friends can figure out what's going on here. This whole situation is really stressful for Celia. I feel really bad for her.
David, you and Celia have been friends for a while, haven't you? If I recall.
Yeah, she and I used to duet in the Take Skits at BelCanto. It was really fun
Yeah.
taking those old songs and making scenes with them. I mean, I don't really have that kind of time to dedicate to performance anymore. Kath, that's my client. She keeps me pretty busy, and I have to stay ahead of the game. But yeah, Celia and I, we used to have some really good times. It kind of makes me wonder if this holiday season, some sort of faint, faded romantic notions between Celia and I are going to be resurrected because of the spirit of the season.
I would have thought that, well, I mean, you're handsome and you're well dressed
Oh,
and your best
thank
friend
you.
is a girl and you can sing. I thought that maybe I could hook you up with one of my sons. But if your heart is set on Celia, then
Oh, my heart's not set on anything. I'm
oh,
very focused on my work.
well, I have a very handsome son. His name is Danny. He's a fisherman. He's got very big biceps, and he's very cute. If you like the fisherman type, if you're interested.
It's like, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Ms. Ryan. Rosemary, what are you doing right now?
Um, well, I just imagine like I'm just miggling around. Like I've heard about like there's been a murder. At least that's what the rumors say. I'm woefully underdressed for this gala. Like if like it like because like again July and Christmas, I'm in short sleeves and shorts, and I'm just like trying to not complain about the cold, even though I really want to complain about the cold.
I think you see a young woman. She's got a very willowy figure and YouTube perfect makeup. She's sort of like walking around the little ballroom with her camera doing a live stream. Hey guys, I'm here at the BelCanto just trying to like, process the grief, process all these complicated emotions. Who knew the most wonderful time of the year would be filled with so much heartache? Sad face emoji, hashtag festive funeral, hashtag tinsel and tears. Also, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. What are you doing
Yep.
right now, Muriel?
Muriel is currently in a very undignified manner, kind of drinking directly from an eggnog spout. to get the overspiced Tex-Mex out of her mouth, which is on fire. Because as you know, if your mouth is if you're too much heat, it's not water. You need fat or alcohol, and she is enjoying both through the eggnog. To help rinse out her mouth a little bit from going a little too hard on those spicier hors d'oeuvres.
Sam Cass approaches you. Sam is the managing director of the BelCanto. He's kind of a big bellied, stout guy, white beard. He's a nice man. And you know him because he's a local. He says, Muriel, are you all right?
Oh, Sam, good to see. Sorry, one moment. Good to see you again. Hey, happy holidays to you. I'm all right. I grossly underestimated how spicy those things were going to be over there. Oh my god,
Muriel, that was just a little bit of melted Velveeta and a can of Rotel. It's not that bad.
What's that? It's got black pepper in it. Oh my god. Now, I know that we don't really partake in spice in the Isles, but oh my god. My eyes are streaming.
Here, why don't you here? And he's kind of like trying to help you. Is that your Christmas tartan or?
Aye, this is my Christmas tartan. You can notice it's only slightly different than my regular tartan. It is of course more festive. You see the embroidery? There's little Christmas trees. Look at that. It's nice.
Oh, it's lovely. Well, it's been quite a time around here, as you know, but
aye.
The show must go on and all that.
Must it really?
Well, yes. I mean, if you look at all this, we've done all these things. I mean, there's still so much to do. I mean, things are still being set up. We're a little bit behind because of all the drama. Trent, could you please make sure the lighting director has his list of cues for Tuesday's performance? Thank you. Sarah, please make sure the volunteers have their breaks scheduled during the week. It all works out in the end, right? Good. Yes, yeah. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, all that. Yes, well,
You're an awfully busy man.
Well, this is the 50th anniversary, and of course, Mr. Greaves and Nathan, and just so much going on.
Nathan's a concerning one, though. Nathan was found dead backstage. I mean, that's alarming, isn't it? I mean, must the show go on? There could I mean, I'm not trying to be the Maven that cried murder, but I mean, even if it was an accidental death, aren't you worried about some sort of safety issues? Maybe perhaps a lighting rig might fall on somebody's head.
No, I'm not worried about that at all. We have instituted very, very strict safety procedures here at the BelCanto, Muriel.
Oh, very nice. Well, good to hear. Glad that no lights are going to be falling on anyone's head. You mind if I ask you a question, Mr. Cass? This is Sam Cass, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Cass, in all of your time of managing the BelCanto, do you ever have a relationship of sorts with the Grieve family?
You could go ahead and make the meddling move with presence.
Cool. Yeah. Any of my conditions apply here? Nah, love it. Cool. And do I have an item? Because Muriel's not the most socially aware person. I don't think I do. All right. Oh, bad. It's a 4.
4. He says, my goodness, that queso is rather spicy, isn't it?
It's not just me, right? It's definitely something in it.
He's like, there is something in it. I can feel I think my throat is closing up.
Mr. Cass? Oh, medic! Medic!
Hell. And then collapses at your feet.
I don't think I am going to put on a crown. I think I'm going to. I kind of want to leave that in.
That is going to cause tonight's festivities to come to a screeching halt as the managing director of the BelCanto, who was basically second in charge after Miles, is dead.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I think everyone, like, you see someone like put down a tortilla chip, like very, like something happened. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I ate the queso too. I ate the queso too. I think I'm panicking.
Let's get Alice and everybody else involved. Doll and Rosemary. Obviously this is a big problem. What's everyone doing right now?
Well, I imagine like everybody's like rushing to like the collapsed man who just died. And like I could just see Muriel panicking about like, oh, I ate the queso too, and I'm like, the queso, like, why is Muriel not dead? Because like we as older women, like I think we may be more vulnerable to like things like poison or whatnot. So I'm going to check out the queso.
Yeah, you could be checking out the queso and maybe anything that might have been around, like whatever he was drinking or whatnot. Go ahead and make the meddling move with go ahead and make it with reason, but I do think, because you're suspicious,
Yes, I figured that.
I think that you see there's a woman, it's Ms. Swindon, Rosella Swindon. She's the board president of the BelCanto. She's like, what are you doing there, Rosemary? Why are you messing with queso?
Wow, dice. I can't believe that I rolled that good on disadvantage. That's a 12.
Whoa. Very, very nice. The dice are very kind to you.
Yeah.
I'll give you a clue and maybe some other. You'll get a little either a void clue or some interesting history in a bit. Alice, what are you doing right now?
Alice, having been kind of keeping an eye after speaking with Celia and everything like that, kind of creepy and being invested and being like, yeah, we'll get the Mavens involved with like seeing if this was an accident or a murder or something like that. And then just like, but also creeping around and being like, Ches, who's this Ches? I gotta find out who's this man that's trying to swindle my great niece into a relationship. This investment banker, no Olinger, even though she's not an Olinger.
I think David Chen will overhear you and he'll say, oh, Ches, I think, well, he's staying at the Rest Your Head, like the rest of us. So for context, the Rest Your Head boarding house is where all the people who come into town to help, like with the concert where they stay, or with the gala. Also, people who just come into town for the gala also stay there. So that's sort of like a beehive of activity outside of the BelCanto. But David will say, oh yeah, Ches is staying at the Rest Your Head like the rest of us.
He's staying at the Rest Your Head, but he's not at the gala this evening.
Well, I mean, I don't know where he's at right now. I haven't seen him actually. But it's the first night. A lot of people are still getting into town and settling in and stuff.
Tell me, David, if you were about to make a grand sweeping romantic gesture to bring somebody back into your life that you had decidedly and very idiotically fumbled at the 10-yard line, especially with being fiancés and everything like that, what would you do? Where would you do it?
I don't know. I would well, and he kind of gets a little like kind of a nervous look on his face and he says, I don't know, Ms. Olinger. I don't think I want to get involved.
You're telling me, David Chen, that you don't want to get directly involved within the personal romantic life of somebody that you so happen to be friends with, especially when it involves an investment banker from the big city?
Make the
You don't want
meddling,
to
the meddling move with presence.
Let me check my items here. I think I'm going to use my notebook of cold cases that stick with me. And I'm going to bring out Dave and see this directly relates to a case that me and Trooper covered back in the day where there was some, I'm just going into a whole diatribe outlisting of how there was an investment banker involved. And it's all grisly and morbid, but it somehow does directly tie into this whole situation with my great niece.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Go ahead and mark it and roll with advantage.
Unless David does have a crush on Celia. It's better than Love Actually. That is a 12.
Wow, the dice are being very kind. We'll come back to this. Doll, what are you doing right now?
Blocking the exit so nobody can leave.
Yeah, I think that there are people. I think maybe you're approached by. I think some of the Greaveses approach you actually. Alexandra Windsor Greaves, she's the young woman who was live streaming earlier. Winston, who is her dad, and then also and Teresa Horn, who is Nathan's mom. They are all like, they're all like coming to the exit, and they're like, Doll, get out of the way. The Greaveses cannot be implicated in yet another death this holiday season.
Well, if you scurry away, it's going to look like you had something to do with this. You have to stay.
Doll, do you really think that people from a prominent family like us would be involved in something like this?
Well, I mean, oh shoot, who is the family, the family that we just dealt with who make the movies?
Oh, well, there's the Vidals. Yeah.
The Vidals. Well, the Vidals were.
Yeah, but they're from Hollywood, Doll. It's different.
I just think for your reputation, for the reputation of the BelCanto, for the reputation of everyone in your family, especially Nathan and Miles,
Doll, we're
probably
grieving.
Stay.
We're grieving.
I know.
We have to go grieve.
Let's grieve together. We'll grieve together right here in this place that Miles worked so hard on.
And they reluctantly walk back.
Anastasia, Alexandra, you're one of those internet regulators, right? You go on the internet and you tell people what cool things are happening?
I am something of an influencer, I suppose, yes.
Influencer, of course, that's exactly what I meant. Would you mind just using your influence status to get a little interview with everybody in the room? I just want to make sure that we know everybody who's here, just so we can reimburse them, or anything like that when things go down, or if everybody starts to leave.
I think Howard Hawley, who is the marketing rep from the Hawley Stamp Card Company, he inserts himself in the conversation between the two of you. He says, "Oh, I'd be happy to do an interview, Alexandra."
So you've got your first interviewee. This is perfect.
Alexandra's like, okay, Howard. Well,
I'll give you $500.
She's like, as if. And
I hand her $500.
I
won the big one.
You did win the big one. That's right. Yeah. She will do this. She will begin conducting interviews with various people there to see if, and I like this as a meddling move with reason to see if you learn anything from Alexandra.
Oh, I don't believe I'm terribly reasonable. Not too bad. I would like to use... I can't really justify anything. Okay, I will not use an item. And that is a 12. A 6 and a 5 plus my one reason. This is incredible.
It's Christmas. The dice are just like Merry Christmas.
This is the opposite of our Friday game.
Yeah, I know.
Why do you guys get the luck?
Yeah, I know. All right. A lot to do. Let's take a 5-minute break so I can look at clues, and then we'll come back and start revealing some stuff. So let's just kind of establish how everything with the scene is like right now. I think that's important to kind of get everybody in time and space. So this first night was not like the full public night. It's almost like the kind of like, it's like the night that, like, for people who are like kind of more involved, right? Like a little like sort of thank you for helping us get the gala ready this week and all that kind of stuff. And so the number of potential suspects is limited by that in terms of who might have done it in Cass. Dahl has managed to Dahl, I mean, I think most people, the only people who try to leave are the Greaveses. And everybody else is mostly just like they're like kind of like in shock, stunned, right? Alexandra is going through, and I will tell you, Dahl, that I'm not sure she's really trained in this sort of inquiry, because the conversations rapidly turn to like clothes that people are wearing, and oh, I really like that highlighter that you're using, and talking about like makeup contouring and all these sorts of things. Not sure how useful the information that you're going to get out of Alexandra is, but it does keep her busy, and there's probably some value in that. And Rosemary, you were poking around the food and stuff to see if anything was poisoned, to see what might have, what might be going on. I will tell you, Rosemary, as you're moving around through the queso, as you're kind of, investigating it, you do find what appears to be, at first, a particularly vivid little chunk of jalapeno, but in fact, it is an emerald. And in fact, it is an emerald ring. And is an emerald ring, the setting of which has engraved upon it payment in full. That is your clue. I owe you a void clue as well, or a bit of history, but I think the way you're looking, it's got to be a void clue because you're not talking to anybody. I think as you are pulling out this ring, you're looking across the way at the Holly stamp display. They have a Christmas tree set up with a bunch of their sort of Holly Stamp Card Company limited edition keepsake ornaments. And all of these ball ornaments, they start to blink. Indeed, they look like eyes. Round, blinking eyeballs all over this Christmas tree. I would like for you to make the night move and tell me what you're afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now.
I break through the doll what's the word?
Barricade.
The doll barricade, and have like the Greaveses actually leave, so that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I think it's worse than that. I think you will become suspect number 1 in the killing, unfortunately. So go ahead and roll with sensitivity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oof. I have lost my luck. That is a 6.
That is a 6. Are you gonna put on a crown, or are we gonna narrate through?
Come back to me on this, because I need to think, because both ways are just very juicy.
All right, we'll think on it. I was gonna cut to commercial too, but I think I don't want to cut to commercial yet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's come back over to Alice for the time being. Alice, you were chatting with David Chen, and David pulls you close, Alice, and he says, listen, I don't want to be involved in any family drama, and I definitely don't want to send the wrong kind of message vis-a-vis Celia and Ches, but I was, well, earlier today, Celia and I were having coffee, just catching up, old times and all that. And she kept checking her phone. I could tell that something was really irritating her. And when she got up to go to the restroom, I feel so guilty, but I actually looked at her messages. I know, that's horrible. But what I saw, whoever was messaging her, I couldn't, I think it was Ches. The initials were CO. Ches Oppenfieri. It's probably Ches. The messages were really, they were angry. They were violent. It was stuff like, well, just stuff like, you're going to regret this. And even one that was like, you're going to find coal in your stocking. I don't know. Keep it seasonal, I guess. It was scary.
CO could be correctional officer.
No, it was Ches.
Ches, sorry. I've been spending a lot of time in Boston. David.
Yes.
You're an old friend of Celia, right?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
And you still have a thing for her, right?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
David. You're the Christmas tree farmer.
Huh? And your clue is Celia was getting these like sort of like angry, violent text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to David, anyway. Who knows? She didn't mention it to you.
David, I can't guarantee this, but I think we can hit 2 turtle doves with one stone this Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
I think not only we can figure out exactly what happened to, well, Sam too, but also, just everything going on this holiday season. But I think we can also help Celia find the spirit of Christmas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
How do you feel about flannel shirts?
Well, I'm more of like a soft cashmere cardigan guy, but
That could work, actually. There was a couple of those. We're going to talk a little bit more about this whole plan I've got for you, okay?
okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, great.
You're not a prince or anything, are you?
No, but I do have a cabin. And we'll cut over to, I want to check with Muriel for a bit. Muriel, what are you doing right now? You've had like quite a shock.
Yeah, I'm standing next to a dead body. And I believe, if I recall correctly, like Rosemary's like not far from me because she's looking at
Yep.
the queso.
Yep.
But I think Muriel's very much like, I mean, that someone just fell dead at my feet. How does one react in this situation? I don't know. I think that she is, I think her go-to is not like, he's dead. It's going to be like, I need to find a medic. Where's the EMT who's on call to be here at the center? We have a man who had clearly some kind of allergic reaction.
The
or
person
something
who
worse.
would know that is Sam, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really quite tragic.
Oh my God. I don't.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I mean, I think like eventually, like, probably somebody will call the cops, right? I mean, emergency services will arrive at some point. assuming that like that'll all get kind of handled, I want to check in with Doll really quickly. Doll, I owe you a clue, which I'll get you in a bit, and you got a 12 plus as well, right?
I did.
Yeah. So I think I want to tell you, I think I'm going to give you a void clue as well, actually. I just got to find out what angle I want to go with here. I think as you are, you've kind of sent Alexandra off to do her thing. All this stuff is kind of going on. You'll start to hear caroling coming from outside the venue.
I love carolers.
You hear the steady rum-pa-pa, rum-pa-pa of the little drummer boy. And
It's my favorite.
carolers are outside singing the little drummer boy. Da 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 ba da ba bum bum. What do you do?
I'm gonna open the door so I can go enjoy the music.
I think we
This is
see
my favorite
you.
carol, after all.
I think we see you walking out into the snow. It's one of these really magical kind of moments, right? There's a perfectly timed snowfall, a little burst of Christmas magic as you step out alone into this powdery white space with all of these carolers. You don't recognize any of them. That's because they're all wearing cowls. And they are singing their song. I need lyrics for Little Drummer Boy.
I
But the
couldn't help
song,
you. I don't know the words either.
it changes. It becomes less musical. It becomes more atonal. It becomes chanting. Come, they told me, our newborn king. Our finest gifts we bring. So to honor him. And this sort of thing, right? And then they finish their little chant. One of them pulls back their hood. You see that it's Corinne Waitley. And I want the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if you lose your nerve?
That she's gonna kidnap me like she kidnapped Alice.
Yes, it's worse than that. You were going to end up part of a morbid holiday display. A warning to the other murder mavens. Roll with composure. And maybe at disadvantage? No, you're fine.
Oh no, I'm not fine.
What'd you get?
A 5.
A 5. Things have gone from good to bad.
We used up all our luck.
Yeah, indeed. I owe a 12 plus result for Alice still, which we'll get to in a bit. Muriel, remind me what you're doing?
Panicking.
Ah,
But I think
yes.
after the panic subsides, she is she is gonna go like marching around trying to find like anyone who can like help. Like this man is he's expired, shuffled off the mortal coil. Help.
I think you come around a corner to see Isaiah Langmore.
Oh, not you.
He says, "Hello, Ms. McGregor. Happy holidays to you."
What do you want, Isaiah Langmore? You briny, stench-addled fiend.
"I have come, Ms. McGregor, to deliver a message from the midwives of the Fragrant Void."
Go ahead, then.
Right around this time is when Rosemary sees the eyeballs in the Christmas tree. Rosemary, what are you going to do here?
I'm going to spend a crown of the void in particular, and I think instead of running away or being quite suspicious about everything, about being like the suspect, I just start crying like this is terrible. There's been 3 murders like within a week, and then the tree grew eyeballs, and like everything's just so scary.
I know. Yeah, it's okay to have a moment, I think. Muriel, you see Rosemary kind of breaking down. Doll has left the hall. Isaiah says, "It is a time of power, Ms. McGregor. The holidays. It is the perfect time for us to reveal our power to you." And all the lights go out in the ballroom. I think there was some music playing, a little bit of 5 golden rings, and everything goes off.
I immediately fumble for Isaiah Langmore's keys that I still have because I have his flashlight on it.
Indeed. Everyone is a little like panicky right now, Alice, because of everything's going on. Death. Moments later, power goes out. Alexandra she's like freaking out. And I think she comes up to you and she's like, what's going on here? Like, Miss Ollinger, we had-
Alexandra,
Yeah.
I need you to get the guests together and keep them away from anybody that is not dressed festively. But not like in a festively, like just general festive way, like a not so cheery kind of creepy festive way, okay?
He's like, but I can't see anything. It's dark. How am I supposed to know?
Alexandra, you are Greaves. Now, there's a hyphen in between your name and everything like that, and it's kind of like a whole like marriage is a weird concept that some people kind of hold on to traditional things and everything. Like, who you are as a woman is not what your name is, but you are embodying character. I'm much better at this when lights are on, I'll just say. But you got this, okay? I know for a fact that there is a lantern that was used by the ghost of Christmas present.
She has no idea.
I'm more of like a Halloween kind of gal. Okay, anyways, there's a lantern that was used by one of the kids. I need you to find that and gather everybody and bring them to a safe location, maybe the dressing rooms, but also keep your eye out for this Ches Oppenfairy, because I think that he might also kind of have a little to do with this. And I think that he might have his hand in trying to make our dear Celia fall in love with him in some kind of pseudo Black Christmas kind of style shenanigans that also might be reaching in kind of some creepy Love Actually territory. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, but I need you to stay safe and I need you to gather these people. The Mavens are on the case, Alexandra.
Okay. And she's on board.
Okay.
I want to check in with Doll. Doll, you see the figures. They're closing in on you. They are chanting param pum pum pum. Param pum pum pum.
I back up to the door and try to open it.
They're gonna grab you. rum pum pum pum, and they're pushing you forward through the crowd of them to Corinne Waitley. She says, "A child will be born unto the world, Ms. Ryan. But we must bring it gifts. And you are to be the first."
Oh, well, I think a nice set of mittens might be nicer. It's quite cold.
And she says, "You're the lucky one, Miss Ryan. We have something far, far more troubling planned for your friends inside the ballroom." And we just see arms reaching over you, surrounding you, around you, interlocking. And unless you put on a crown,
I would like to put on a crown.
or we cut to commercial.
Cut
Your
to
choice.
commercial. Yeah, let's cut to commercial. We haven't done that in a while.
Cut to commercial. Let me give you a prompt. My little list here. Because I actually need a little break anyway, because I got to do something that'll give you time to think about. Find my prompts first, though. Where are we at? There we are. Your prompt is
I've done the lawyer one before.
I know, yeah. Your prompt is Turtle Plus, a pet store. It's Turtles Plus so much more.
Okay.
We'll come back at 5. I need 5 to check to do something real quick,
Okay.
and then we'll do that. Okay, we are back. I had to roll some dice. Dice are rolled. We'll come to Turtle Plus in a bit. Isaiah Langmore. It's dark, Muriel. He says, "Come forth, troubled spirit. Come forth, cursed of Leander, but bearing the blessings of Poseidon, Lord of the Deep himself. Follow my lantern." And he raises up a lantern. It's the only light we see in the hall. And then it's very, very quiet in the hall. Everyone's very nervous. And we just hear heavy stomps, but more like heavy clops, like large hooved feet clopping on the marble tile. Alexandra raises up her phone and turns on the flashlight. What is that? And on her screen, you just see a ram-headed man towering, standing there. She lets out an ear-splitting scream, and it's just chaos breaking out in the ballroom. There is a tall, shadowy figure in the ballroom. It is loping toward Isaiah. It is moving toward the lantern. You are between the lantern and the creature, Muriel. What do you do?
Flying headbutt to Isaiah Langmore's face.
Very good. This is going to be the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I am afraid Isaiah Langmore is gonna get away and run off and be drawing this creature around.
Yeah, I think it's worse than that. I think the creature's going to take out a few suspects. And then it's going to direct its attention to you more directly. Let's go ahead and roll with sensitivity. And let's take a look at your conditions.
Sensitivity for Isaiah. Oh no.
You have marked by Isaiah Langmore as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want this at disadvantage also.
Oh no, I was really excited to headbutt him with my +3 vitality. Oh no, oh no, this is bad for me. I'm going to change my approach ever so slightly and say instead of a headbutt, yeah, I'm gonna use my Highland Games medal to invoke my force of power here. Finally get to use my hammer throw kind of tactics in my attack, so I'll mitigate the disadvantage.
Invoking the spirit of William Wallace.
Exactly.
Character actor Tommy Flanagan, and insert other Scottish person here.
Yeah. Oh, this is bad. I have a -1 sensitivity. Muriel, why are you so strong? And then I'm able to punch ghosts. Okay, not terrible. That is an 8.
I think you will be able to knock Isaiah Langmore back, send the lantern flying. I think, unfortunately, the lantern will fly over in the general vicinity of Alice.
I'm gonna mark a crown.
Okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely what I'll do. I'm gonna mark Muriel's first crown of the void. This feels like the good time to have that marked now.
Instead, I'll let you smash the lantern and thereby evade this problem altogether. Go ahead and describe it.
Yes. As this is happening, Muriel just turns back to Isaiah, who's in this gloomy, eerie lantern light, and just, I think, we had a little bit of distance between us, I think, when he was talking to me, and Muriel reaches, like, just very in the darkness, reaches over and grabs this decoration from the main ballroom area, which was one of those large ornament, like one of those like oversized like Christmas tree ornament decorations that she grabs by the handle of it, and in a swirling hammer throw spin just chucks it directly at Isaiah Langmore's head, breaking his nose. And then he will drop the lantern and have it just shatter on the floor.
5 golden rings. Da, 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 da. The lights come back on. Da, 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 da. There's no creature. Everything seems to be in hand. Everyone's a little freaked out. Howard Holly says, "I think I got it. It was just a fuse went out. I think we're okay. Is everybody okay? Is everyone all right? Are the police here yet? What?" And outside, Doll, your situation hasn't gotten any better, though. Arms are enfolding you. We're going to cut to commercial for Doll. Take it away.
Turtles Plus, the pet store with turtles and so much more. Now selling wonderful pets like goldfish, bunny rabbits, hermit crabs, parrots, pirates, giant cockroaches, crab gods of the river, kittens, evil kittens, baby alligators, and then along the bottom of the screen it says, "Please do not flush down the sewers." Turtles Plus has everything you need for the health and care of your pet. Terrariums, leashes, brindlefly telepods, hamster wheels, winter booties sold in packs of 15 for your many-legged fur babies and scale babies. Everything you need at Turtles Plus, the pet store, with turtles and now so much more.
Bravo. Instead, Doll, you get a 10 plus and you can avoid this completely. What do you do as the cultists begin surrounding you?
I run inside and barricade the door.
I think when you run inside, you see that everyone is like really like on edge, like something has just happened. You see Isaiah Langmore cradling his busted nose. Muriel, fuming. It's just a moment. So let's just pick up from there.
Can Muriel actually pounce on top of Isaiah Langmore and continue to just beat his face in?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's like, as you're hitting him, he's like, "That's right, Muriel McGregor. You have the fury of the waves in your fists."
Stop enjoying this, you freak!
What did I miss?
When you
I
take
was outside and
when you take a
ran
moment to
leave
get a
the
breath,
robots.
when you take a moment to get a breath, he says, "I should have died that day. I should have drowned in the kingdom beneath the waves. Finish me off, Muriel McGregor."
Please don't finish him off, please.
I don't you're so weird. You're so bizarre. You've got serious problems, Isaiah Langmore. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish you off. I'm not gonna do anything of the sort. You're gonna I'm just gonna get up and kick him in the ribs and then just like stomp away and just be like, someone arrest this freak, please.
I'm gonna take a picture of him while he's bloodied on the ground, and I'm gonna look at him and say, "I'm gonna take a photo of you, and I'm gonna go to Kinko's, and I'm gonna have a bunch of posters printed around town saying nothing about you being missing or wanted. Just this man is a freak. This man is a freak." And I'm just gonna have people there's gonna be women and children pointing at you saying, "Look, there's the freak. There's the freak that wants to get beat up by old women."
And you always say that. You always say you should have drowned that day. Well, clearly, if the briny deep wanted you, it would have taken you. But because you're such a freak, it spat you back out and made you our problem.
Not even octopuses want you. I don't even know if we have sharks off the coast of Massachusetts, but they don't even want you. All right.
Let's fast forward. The police have arrived. If I remember correctly, Sheriff Dalrymple basically encouraged the cover-up of the Vidal murder, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is a similar kind of thing. It's not a cover-up so much, but basically, I think it's a whole, like, for the good of the gala and for the good of the town, we should just forget night one and do our best to move on to night two. We're all very sad about the people who have passed away from no doubt natural causes, and all that's kind of going on, right? They're much more interested in preserving the gala than they are getting to the bottom of what happened. Of course, that's what you're for. But the police are there. They've got the situation under control. Nobody's allowed to stay in the BelCanto. You have to spend the rest of the evening somewhere else. Most people are heading back to the Rest Your Head because that's where they're staying, which is the boarding house. And yeah, so what's everyone doing at this point?
I advocate that maybe the Maven should go back to Doll's fancy new house that she's brought with all that money, so we can plan our next steps, because this got weird.
I need hot chocolate with nutmeg stat.
I need hot chocolate with whiskey stat.
I love it. Yeah, let's have a little night at Doll's fabulous mansion, which has an elevator and an orchidarium.
I have a full bar too. I imagine I have a whole like bar room.
Yeah.
You're not after Muriel's going to be done with it.
Oh, Gerald will replenish it. Don't worry about that.
I think Gerald is there. I think he's like I think he's young, very good looking. He is a local, and I think when you all come through the front door, he's set up a sensor so that when you walk through the threshold, it does this whole thing, a sort of like a dazzling Christmas light display that blinks in time to the carol of the bells playing, right? Ba, 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 ba. All this stuff is set up. It's very elaborate. And he says, "What do you think, Ms. Ryan?"
Oh, all this work. What a wonderful job, Gerald. It's beautiful.
He's like, "Thank you. I thought you'd like that. Hello, ladies. I think I know what everyone drinks. Whiskey, scotch for Ms. McGregor.
Scotch place.
And he's kind of going through getting everyone's drinks, and he's doing his thing. Doll's place is fabulous. Bingo really came through.
You
Doll's
got all-
actually helping Gerald with the drinks because she doesn't like to sit there and not do anything and have someone serve her.
Yeah.
You got all this money from playing bingo?
Well, when you hit the big one, you hit the big one.
It wasn't just bingo, it was some scratch cards as well. It's one of those $1 million ones.
What's the tub situation in this place?
Well, we have 4 jacuzzi tubs. One's in the backyard, though.
That's just a hot tub, Doll.
Oh,
That's just, they call that a hot tub.
so I'm not supposed to take a bath in it.
Oh, can your neighbors see you?
I suppose if they were peeking through the fence.
Then I'd start charging for admission.
As Gerald is serving drinks, he says, "So, I heard a little bit about what happened at the BelCanto. I know that the sheriff is trying to keep it all under control, but word spreads fast. I guess there was some sort of trouble, something about Mr. Cass?"
Oh, Gerald, it was absolutely terrible. You know how much I love galas. Nothing gets me more excited than galas than actually, you know what? The only thing that gets me more excited than galas is being back in Dildo. But
I
it
heard
was
that
awful. It was
I heard that for a short
ruined
time
night.
everyone was trapped in the BelCanto.
Oh,
That there was like a barricade or something. Did I hear that?
that must have been
correctly?
when I was being attacked by robots.
Right.
The robots came back.
It's been months since we've heard about the robots. What?
They're back with their cloaks. They were singing and then they weren't. And then it was Corinne Waitley. She's not a robot though.
She makes robots.
Interesting.
You did a very exclamatory gasp there, doll.
What if she is a robot? What if she is?
I think she's a robot more in kind of a metaphorical sense.
That
I wonder what that
woman
means.
stayed in my home
She
for
ate
at
your
least
food.
3 weeks. She also stank up the place, okay? Something about non-aluminum deodorants and like hippie stuff, like really like Cumberland, Tennessee kind of stuff.
I've never been so relieved to hear
PSA
that
for
there's a
people
hippie
watching
around.
the video.
Yeah.
PSA for people watching the video. Non-aluminum deodorant does not work. Get some new fucking deodorant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Message for
Co-signed.
everyone. That shit does not work. All right. Now that PSA is over, that's my Turtles Plus commercial.
I have never seen Jason Cordova, creator of Brindlewood Bay, feel so impassioned about anything ever in my life.
Does not work. People are just too polite to tell you. That's all. Like that's all that's going
Oh
on
my
there.
God.
Yeah, that's all that's going on there. Okay. Now, Gerald says, Gerald's like I think Gerald's trying to kind of like, ease you all into a conversation about, this is not the first time something like this has happened in Brindlewood Bay. And I don't even mean all the recent murders, Ms. Ryan. We've had all kinds of strange activity here in the past, as I think you may know, such as in, 92. I was a kid. I was here when it happened. I take it.
Didn't live here in 92. What happened?
Well, that was when we had a group of anti-government separatists called the Sons of Freedom. They had a little standoff against federal agents at the Sons compound, which is, at the time was in the woods just outside of Brindlewood Bay. The standoff lasted for 6 days, during which time federal agents claimed to witness all manner of strange things coming from inside, similar sort of strange things to what you may have experienced in recent weeks and months, or maybe not. I don't know. Bizarre lights, chanting, barnyard animal noises.
Eyeballs on trees.
Right. Some of the agents actually report having hallucinations during the standoff and even glimpsing monstrous forms in the surrounding woods.
That is eerily similar to our own experiences tonight.
On the sixth night, a wild chanting followed by terrible screams went up from the compound, and then silence. When the agents entered the compound, they found an abattoir, the floors, walls, and ceilings soaked in blood, and pieces of the suns strewn all over.
I don't suppose you'd know the answer to this, Mr. Gerald, but is there any chance that this Sons of Freedom compound was built in the same place as the hippie commune that was raided back in the late 60s?
And Gerald straightens up his little bow tie and his little waistcoat, and he says, "Now I think you're asking the right questions, Miss McGregor. Can I interest anyone in a canapé?"
I don't know what that is, but it sounds nice.
I didn't think
It's
Doomsday
just
Preppers
Vienna
were.
sausages wrapped in like a little bit of dough.
Oh, I like that.
He says, actually, no, we're having foie gras. What you've described, Ms. Ryan, is not fit for human consumption." And he goes, "You can take the dildo." No, how does it go? "You can take the girl out of dildo, but not the dildo out of the girl."
It's true. I always say that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you
I
really
do
do.
love a Vienna sausage. I like the bigger sausages too, but the Vienna ones are my favorite.
I need to show you the internet. I need to show you the internet at some point. I'm older than you, and you cannot be this.
You gotta do one of those Tobias Funke things where you give her a recorder to walk around
Yeah.
and record herself. Okay. Yeah, so a little bit of history. That's what I owed Alice for her 12 plus. Interesting question. Is it possible the compound was in the same place as the hippie commune? Maybe. I don't know. Gerald seems to think so.
Gerald is very mysterious now.
It's
I
very
like
mysterious, yeah.
Gerald watched HBO too young as a child.
He knew an awful lot about what you all went through tonight.
He's like he's the opposite Isaiah Langmore. He's mysterious, but in a good way. Oh my
Doll
God.
leans forward. He's not as dapper as, let's say, Michael Caine in the Muppet Christmas Carol with the scarf
Oh,
and the
so
hat.
dapper.
Love a Scrooge, right?
I
But
love a Scrooge.
he's very useful and he makes a nice drink.
He mixes well. I think he's nice.
Yeah.
I hope you're paying him well above minimum wage for this country.
Oh yes, he handles all the finance stuff. I don't know what any of that's doing.
Well, what are we going to do? We've got a lot of problems on our hand, chiefly that awful Corinne Wheatley. But I mean more specifically regarding this whole gala matter. I mean, there's something afoot here. And not just what those freakish cultist robots of the Volvic Void, what have you. But all of that aside, there's something wrong going on at the gala itself and with this family. Someone wants these people dead. And I'm not entirely sure that these events are disconnected, but I do think they are respectively individualistic enough that we can devote our attention to one and ignore the other, for at least now.
It's all so tragic and romantic, I swear to God.
Yes, that's another thing we have to figure out. Are we going to set Celia up with her old friend, or are we going to set her up with my handsome son?
Oh, well, I mean, that's a good question. What is Celia's taste in men? What's she looking for in life?
I'm going to regale them with the threatening text messages that Ched's and Fieri sent her. And I was like, and I don't know if that's a thing that she's like into, kind of like there's like, you know, there's those programs where they like creepy dudes on the television now that are like kind of like attractive. And like they're like, oh, this is definitely like a weirdo that's a danger to women everywhere. But then also like he's got deep brown eyes. And so they're kind of into it. I don't know. But like, David Chen's right there. He's so handsome, well put together, and he's just head over heels with her.
I can't imagine she would actually go for someone like Ches. I mean, there's a difference between fiction and real life. This is real life.
It's starting to feel a bloody lot like fiction, though, to tell you the truth.
Mhm.
But this is clearly the priority right now. Tell me about this nephew of yours.
And it goes on a bit.
Mhm.
Why don't we fast forward to the next day with the Mavens well in their cups for the rest of the evening and eating canapes and being regaled with the dark history of Brindlewood Bay from their curiously well-informed manservant, or Doll's curiously well-informed manservant. It is the next day. The BelCanto is busy with the preparations for the second night of the gala. They're doing their best to like maintain their schedule despite all the various setbacks that have happened over the last few days. If you get to the Rest Your Head early enough, you might be able to question some people before they have a chance to get over to the BelCanto. Other options, the Greaves, their estate is in town. You can maybe go talk to the Greaves family a little bit more in a more isolated place, but although on their home turf, I suppose. And yeah, so what does everybody want to do today? Let's start with Rosemary.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to the Greaves estate. I would like someone to come with me, so maybe we can get off a cozy move, because I know some of us are building up on conditions. And I really want to get rid of suspicious. I've also added and ashamed to it, because it just seemed like me crying out in public. It kind of added to that.
Alice definitely would like to go to the Rest Your Head. Maybe to talk to some people, but also to like go digging around in some people's rooms doing a little bit of B&E. And I'm not talking about bacon and eggs. I'm talking but then also do a cozy move, over some breakfast with somebody.
That sounds good. So maybe we split up into two groups then? Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Doll, which group are you going with? Greaves or Rest Your Head?
I'll go to the Greaves estate. And now that I'm a fancy person, I understand fancy places.
Indeed.
And I'll join Alice at the Rest Your Head.
Let's start with the Rest Your Head. So, let me grab my little list of locations here. The Rest Your Head boarding house. Performers, stagehands, gala attendees as well are kind of coming and going as you arrive, mingling amiably over hot cider dispensed in the lobby. Boarding house employees are dashing back and forth with stacks of fresh towels and sheets. Luggage for people who are arriving today are being moved around, and just kind of, helping people out with anything else they might need. Let's paint the scene, everyone. While the boarding house has been a convenient stay for those performing or attending shows at the BelCanto, it also started as a smaller bed and breakfast. What gives you the impression they are doing their best to maintain that cozy, comfortable vibe?
There is a cross stitch. It is a big cross stitch framed little thing that has like seashells cross stitched into it and seahorses and kelp all around it on the borders. And in the very middle, it says, "Who shut up the sea behind doors when it bursts forth from the womb? Job 38:8.
Whenever they have to do like renovations of the place to like rather like replace some like wood fixtures around the boarding house, they'll always install them and then take some sandpaper to it to like give it that kind of like slightly worn down rustic feel, because even if it is new, kind of like Ship of Theseus B&B, it is very much like they wanted to look at least homely.
Doilies everywhere, doilies on every table, doilies on every seat. Even the wall barriers for where chairs will hit the wall to protect the wall, those have doilies covering them. It's just doilies.
Put a doily on it. Gaddock, anything to offer?
No.
Okay. So, Alice, And Muriel, what do you do?
Well, first we got to start off with a nice little breakfast going into brunch. Alice has brought a new scrapbook. Working in it's the holidays kind of point of the scrapbooks with the murders and everything. And I think having a nice little some mimosas maybe, which is as you could tell, which is 8/10 of the glass is and I know fractions, you can round that down, whatever, I don't care. 8/10 of that is champagne, and there's a dollop of fucking orange juice in it, set up. And it's just gonna look at Muriel and go, Muriel, I know that you have a very distinct stylistic choice in what you wear and decorate your home with. You're quite fond of greenery,
Hey.
dried herbs hanging from random places in your home. Particularly a fan of the lamb's ear that you have hanging up in your bathroom. It's very nice to hold on to if I haven't had enough Metamucil in the day.
Thank you.
What do you think I should decorate this page with, though? And you can tell that it's like photos of people in distress at the gala and everything. And I was kind of thinking of maybe like Christmas ornaments and snow globes, but I think maybe like with the gala, it might be better for like gingerbread men in tuxedos and gingerbread women in cocktail dresses, and then like, hot cocoa and everything. What do you think?
Well, I think the most apt thematic decoration would be to cut out the therapy section of the white pages, or the yellow pages, whichever one his business is, and for therapists in the area. But if you're going for a Christmassy theme, I'd wager more on the side of holly leaves, berries, and kind of like a silver garlandy kind of tinsel. It's I really like the balance of shadows and figures you've got assembled here, especially in the background of the photographs.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Hey, is that I see that in that one in particular, you seem to have captured the fear in their eyes quite well. And is that a ram-headed thing in the background of that one too?
Yeah, it's very like, like Ghost of Christmas Future, really thinking. I just watched Muppet Christmas Carol recently, and so it just kind of really distinctly sticks with me and everything.
Muriel, Muriel points at it and just is Alice. That's on photograph. That happened. Right? Just making sure we're clear on that.
I think Alice just goes, and just starts sipping champagne.
They just start drinking their mimosas.
just drinking them. I will say, though, while that is very interesting, and I haven't really processed it all together, I think I have to go see somebody about that soon.
Oh, how is Mr. Krause doing?
So, after Thanksgiving, we had a very nice lunch together, and he went over some of his favorite scenes that he has performed in recent memory.
Oh my! Oh no!
Particularly gave a very striking performance of Rounders. It was fantastic, way better than was on film.
Oh, really? Because I recall from that movie, it was all like, "Give this man his money."
Which I don't want to talk ill of the dead, but like old Johnny Malk wasn't really on his top form in that movie, but Albert, I think, has really found the nuance and the panache to that character.
Is he a better actor?
I hate to say it, but I think he might be.
I don't want to suggest anything ill of the late Mr. Malkovich, but ever since that was happened, I was beginning to wonder if his performance and being John Malkovich was kind of inspired by this I guess latent insecurity he felt compared to the talent of his brother that was buried underneath this whole time. It's a shame he's a murderer.
It's quite a shame.
I think let's check in on the move. Cozy move triggered. Conditions. Let's see. Alice, did you want to clear Well, I guess maybe marked by Isaiah Langmore, Muriel. You can maybe unmark that one if you want.
I was actually thinking of clearing the Answers You Seek are in the Brandy Deep.
Okay.
Because I'm getting so I'm getting so blasted on mimosas over here that I'm gonna forget those cold words.
Indeed. What about you, Alice? Which of those two do you want to clear, if either?
I think we're gonna clear being watched. I think shadows over your shoulder are still lingering quite a bit. So
even though I pummeled Isaiah Langmore's face in, I think the fact that he wanted me to kill him and I didn't, and we just insulted him, I'm even more marked by him.
Yeah, you're marked by his teeth right now on your knuckles.
Yeah, literally, I am literally marked by Isaiah Langmore.
I've got a great photo of you can see his tooth flying that way.
Alice, you will also get to stumble on a clue, which you get to define, which we'll get to in a moment. I will, though, tell you, we'll wrap up this scene with there is a man who's also having breakfast in the dining room. He is very good looking, aquiline nose, well-cut hair, very streamlined physique. And he's talking into his phone and he says, that thing with Rowan, I mean, I was drunk and bored, and frankly, it wasn't very good for either of us. I opened up to Celia. I told her everything that happened between Rowan and I because I thought I was, doing the honest, loving thing to tell her what I did, how I slipped up. And now here I am on the naughty list, banished to the boarding house while we're both in town to help out with the gala. I mean, yeah, I hope we can patch things up. I mean, I love that girl. I really do. But I think it's going to take a Christmas miracle for me to make this right. Meanwhile, Doll and Rosemary. Do you want the scene on the way in one of your cars? Or
I think I would like the scene at the doorstep of this place.
Yeah, it sounds good.
As we're waiting outside because it's still pretty early, and I don't think these people are early wakers. So
well, they've had a rough couple nights too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay. So you're out at the estate. Let me see if there's anything I can tell you about the place itself. I mean, it's a large kind of stately, sort of Victorian style manor home. And yeah, we'll just have the scene with the two of you out there waiting. I think the front door has an enormous wreath. It's huge, kind of wreath with musical instrument motif. So little tiny brass, horns and things like that all stuck in it. Go ahead. Role play.
Rosemary, before we head in, I just wanted to talk to you briefly about yesterday. I heard that you had what some are calling an emotional breakdown.
Listen, lots of things are very strange in Brindlewood Bay. You nearly got kidnapped.
Right,
Our
but I have
robots.
emotional breakdowns all the time. It's very different.
Well, you didn't see what happened in there. There was this tree, and it started to blink at me. I think they are replacing everything in Brindlewood Bay. It's less robots and more what's that movie where the people got replaced?
Body Snatchers.
Freaky Friday.
What did you say, Doll?
Freaky Friday. I was trying to think of the most innocent thing I could think of with a body swapping.
All right. You know what? Sure. Why not? That's yeah. And for starters, the cover up by Dirt Wimble, this is just poor. This is the laziest cover up I've ever seen.
Absolutely shameful behavior on
I honestly have done much better jobs of smoothing things over at my charity events. Come on, convincing everybody that
gala, it would be running so much smoother. There'd be no scary things. There'd be no robots. There'd be no eyeballs except for in people's heads. There would be normal queso cheese. There would probably be no ram-headed things.
absolutely not. there were both, he just blamed things on like, oh, allergies and accidents. Come on, this gala is not run by irresponsible people. Listen, you have to like reverse the blame onto other things and say natural inconveniences that could not have been predicted, such as, oh, it wasn't the queso that had like an allergen in it. It was just that he was eating chicken wings and a bone slipped through. Like that's a perfectly reasonable excuse, but like,
So you think he choked on a chicken wing?
no, he got poisoned. That was what
Oh.
happened. I'm just saying that Daryl Bullitt is a terrible man and terrible at cover-ups. I don't know how he's maintained his job. Is he paying someone to be a police officer? I don't know.
Well, maybe you should be the chief of police.
Yes, I have a better sense of justice, at least in that regard.
Let's check in with I guess the cozy move fired off was charity
Charity events.
Our cozy activity. Very good. Yeah, so what conditions? Well, Doll, you don't even have any. Rosemary, what condition are you going to clear?
Suspicious and ashamed, of just saying I'm I don't think I'm suspicious anymore, because like I keep on doing very innocent things and I keep on complaining about how other people are suspicious. So
yeah, I like it. You get to stumble on a clue as well. I think Teresa Horn comes to open the door. She's a very no-nonsense kind of woman. She's wearing a baggy Christmas sweater and comfortable flat-soled shoes. Her hair is in an uncomplicated bob, we'll say. She is Nathan's mother, and you will know, because they're local, that she raised Nathan by herself after his father died in a car accident. She has created her own niche business as a freelance producer. And there's a little bit more there to know as well, but we'll get into it in a bit. She does have, well, we'll get to that in a bit. She opens the door and she says, "Oh, Rosemary, Doll, what brings you out here so early in the morning?" It's like 10 o'clock.
Well, first things first, we're very sorry for your loss. It's just
Thank you.
Horrible.
I know it's been a really, really trying time. Thank you, Doll.
And we came to talk to you about it.
Oh, well,
Hopefully
why?
with details and such.
Wait, this isn't one of those murder mavens things, is it?
Unfortunately, it is, because I believe that you may be next on the list. And as I say this, I notice like she has this bracelets on her wrist, and like around her wrist it's kind of a little bit, there's a bit of bruising there, and that is going to be my clue.
Very interesting. Good. Yeah, note that down. She says, "Come in," and she'll invite the two of you in. Let's cut back over to Muriel and Alice. So Alice, that's Ches, most likely, sitting over there. What do you do?
Muriel, how do you feel about tall, dark gentlemen with nice clothes and aquiline noses?
Usually feel like breaking it, but
The phone conversation goes, "So you think I should buy a reindeer farm?"
Alice, calm down. Alice, calm down. Alice.
Yeah, the money's no big deal. Certainly. Yeah, I suppose it'll give me that sort of like small town, rural kind of vibe, sand off the rough urban edges. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay, sure. Oh, that's it. That
Muriel,
includes the reindeer too. Wow, that's amazing.
you have to keep this tall, handsome, dark gentleman from becoming a rugged flannel-wearing Joe Manganiello, and you have to make sure that he stays a big city, power suit, power tie, James Marsden, okay?
Don't know what either of those mean. Does that mean you want him to do you want him to fall in love with Celia, or do you not want him to fall in love with Celia?
Want him to fall in love with his work and his job so much that he doesn't have time to spend with Celia, so that she falls into the rough, rugged hand. Well, they're not really rough and rugged. They're actually well manicured and moisturized. But arms of David Chen or somebody else. Doll's got a wonderful son.
Okay, hold on.
So what do you do with reindeer? Like, can you turn them into hamburger or something? Like, I'm like, what? Like,
Yes, hold on. Okay, you showed me enough of those films last year. I think I know what to do here. You want him as far away from Celia as possible, right?
And his room.
Gotcha. Give me 2 seconds.
Blitzenberger. That's great. I love that.
Muriel is gonna get up. I think the first thing she's going to do is see if she can steal an apron from one of the, like, find like an apron that she can like steal from like the staff or something like that.
I think
that,
okay, you can do that. That's fine. Yeah.
She's gonna put it on, just grab some stuff lying around, then walk up over towards Chez's table and just be like, "How is everything, dearie?"
He's like, "Oh, really, really good. Hey, are you from around here?"
"Yes."
"Do you know where I can buy some steel-toed boots?"
Steel-toed boots, I see. Depends on the work. Are you going into construction?
Gonna do a little bit of farming. Yeah.
Oh, farming. Aye, there used to be a lot of great farms in the area of Brindlewood County until the pesticides infertilized all the soil. Nothing grows here anymore. But
this is not that kind of farm. We're gonna raise reindeer for hamburger meat.
Oh, for
Blitzenberger.
hamburger meat. Aye.
Yeah.
Oh, reindeer. I heard they don't do so well in the climate around here.
I can already imagine the IPO. I can already imagine the IPO for Blitzenberger. Pretty great.
Blitzenberger. Oh, I see. You're going to put reindeer meat in the burgers. You know, reindeer meat is famously full of trigonosis parasites.
Right. Well, I don't know what any of those words mean, but I don't think I'm going to be able to like raise reindeer wearing a pair of Gucci slides. So what do we say? Steel-toed boots? Is there a place like that? Like,
a place.
I notice you're wearing plaid. Do you know where I can get a flannel as well?
Oh no. She's sweating because she's like, I do in fact know the best place to get plaid in town.
Alice now realizing, oh no, roles should have been reversed.
I've actually been thinking of divesting completely from all of my investments in the city, and indeed abandoning my vapid life of just the 9-to-5 rat race and coming out here to live in the country.
I think Muriel is sweating buckets, and then she like slams her fist on the table and she says, "Let me tell you something truthfully, young man. I think it is a noble profession to ditch the big city life and moving out to the rural areas and embracing a simple rural farm life. Yes, I'm going to get." She begins writing addresses for like every bit, like tearing off them, like sending
that's great.
Yes, the best plaid in town, the best boots you'll possibly find. It'll stand up to mood for the next 50 generations of your family now that you've come here. And furthermore, young man, let me tell you, if you're going to be raising animal life, if you're going to be partaking in reindeer husbandry, she's beginning to be like dumping farm wisdom on him and just be like, and you'll live your life happier with this decision made. And it's just giving him rural farm life wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
God. She fully breaks and looks over at Alice like, sorry.
He's like, this is great. This is great. Celia's gonna love this. And
I bet she is. You be that strong, able-bodied farm man that's gonna somehow operate a yearly Christmas business. I go back to the table. I just sit down like, I'm weak, Alice.
Did he mention plaid?
He mentioned plaid. He asked me where he could get plaid. And also, just look. Look at his chest. The proportions of his body are so perfectly tailored to a plaid shirt tucked into his pants and maybe wearing a pair of suspenders.
Muriel, I know we talk about this all the time, but you take a lot of umbrage to people putting stereotypes on you, but you really do just kind of play into stereotypes.
I can't help it. If a big city big shot wants to abandon his life and embrace a rural, quiet, quaint lifestyle out in the countryside, I feel it is my civic duty as a Scotswoman to fully endorse it.
All right, Muriel, you go ahead and order some more eggs Benedict, and I think I'm gonna help him supplement that lifestyle. I'm gonna go use the restroom. Wink.
Okay. Yeah.
Indeed.
I'll take the bacon and beans egg platter and Scotch neat. Thank you.
So, Alice, you owe me a clue. Whenever you got it, let me know.
I think Alice is gonna try to sneak away upstairs to Chez's room, and is going to stumble across a small leather attaché like case, not a case, but like a card holder.
Okay, yeah.
And she'll pick it up and she'll open it, and it's a bunch of business cards for Sam. But there's a folded paper inside of it, and on it has a picture of beloved comic strip character and children's cartoon main character Chris Khaki from a Christmas special of his. And on it, it says in very menacing red crayon, says, "Through the years, we will all be together if the fates allow."
Nice. Go ahead and note that in the clues. And let's take a little short, just quick break, like 3 minutes. We'll come back and we'll wrap up the session. The Greaves home. The Greaves family home is a stately place just outside of town. It gives the impression of old money, rooms filled with antique furniture, cabinets stocked with pricey liquor and fine china, and grand portraiture looming over you as you walk inside. Paint the scene, and yet the Greaves are not the original owners of this house. What do we see that indicates this is not the Greaves' ancestral home?
Above the doors, there's a engraving, like the molding is engraved, and it has the letter S, which is not a G.
I think to just continue on with like the door frames and stuff. I think we passed through like the entrance way, and like close to it that there is these little marks and like the wall of marching height, but the names on there aren't of any of the Greaves children.
In the entrance hall, the foyer to some, depending on what kind of home you live in, there is a portrait that says "Our loving patriarch," and it is of a Dutch mathematician and cartographer from long ago, 17th century, 18th century.
The kind of like central opening foyer is like a round room with a, you can see upper floor balcony. And there's a little floor mural that looks very like colonial era, like 17th century, 18th century. And it is this whole like kind of like crest. Nothing about it seems to be about the Greaves family, but it says it written around it in Latin is Oceanum non tememus, which it means we are not afraid of the ocean.
Nice, good. Well, so Doll and Rosemary, Teresa Horn lets you in, and she says, well, my father was in good health despite his age, and so when he passed away quite suddenly, I did wonder if something was going on. And then, of course, there was Nathan. Nathan never would have made a spectacle of himself like that if he didn't really think there was something untoward going on. Can you help us?
Of course. And one of my moves actually just got triggered. The August Stupid move.
Yeah.
What is about to happen?
Oh, very interesting. I think that Miles, who is Teresa's brother, or no, Winston, who's Teresa's brother and Nathan's uncle. Winston is going to come downstairs, and he is going to come downstairs, and he's going to try to basically get rid of the two of you.
Why?
Winston sees his father's death as an opportunity for him to finally come into his own. The BelCanto was always run very strictly according to his father's wishes and desires, and Winston was always just sort of a yes man. But now, with Miles out of the way, or at least, no longer, with Miles dead, Winston will be able to do what he wants to do, and he's not going to have his moment upstaged by you or anyone else or any other unfortunate circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, you hear him coming down the stairs, and he says, "Teresa, who was that at the door?" And Teresa says, "Oh, it's just Ms. Mortimer and Ms. Ryan." And he stops and he says, "Oh, so this is Murder Maven's business now, eh?"
No. I know that we are well renowned for our investigations, but it's more or less of helping with things transition smoothly because you've lost a few hands on the deck of this whole operation here, and as marvelously skilled I'm assured you are, I think just having an extra pair of hands available with organizing things, especially since the director of the BelCanto
He says, I don't disagree, Ms. Mortimer.
Mhm.
And he comes down, and he's very I think he's kind of known in town for being like a very sort of, he kind of like, he's always kind of acted like he's a little bit above everybody, right? Because of his family,
Mhm.
And I think he's wearing like this kind of velvet smoking jacket. And unlike his dad, he has no interest in the music. He's strictly interested in the business parts of it. And he's kind of coming downstairs, and he's just sort of like adjusting a cufflink, or kind of looks like he's in the middle of getting ready to go out. And he says, "I don't disagree, but I do think that the only extra set of hands, to use your words, that we need in this matter is that of the sheriff's department. I'm sure Sheriff Dalrymple has this well in hand. I'm
No,
not
he
sure we
doesn't.
need."
Sheriff Dalrymple is perfectly fine to sweep this under the rug. But however, due to the knowledge I have in this particular case, I don't think the deaths are going to stop. I think every Greaves is going to die.
Teresa says, "Ms. Ryan, maybe I could take you maybe I could take you to Nathan's room so that you can go through his things. Maybe there's something there."
That would be wonderful. Rosemary,
Mhm.
you'll be okay by yourself?
Yes, I'll be perfectly fine.
She takes you off to Nathan's room, and Winston gives her a side eye, and he continues down the stairs and says, "Well, Miss Mortimer,
Mhm.
since it seems I am not going to be easily gotten rid of you two, I suppose I'll just lean in. How can I help?"
What? No. I've assumed that you have eyes pretty much on everyone. Between your father's death and Nathan's death, what did Nathan get up to? Who did Nathan talk to?
Go ahead and make the meddling move, Rosemary, with
Mhm.
presence.
That's 6 + 3, and okay, that's just a 9.
Okay, we'll come back to this in a bit. I want to check in on Nathan's room.
Mhm.
She kind of pulls you in there and she says, I knew my brother was going to react poorly to this. This is just not the sort of thing that, I mean,
He's
it,
a bit hoity-toity, isn't he?
well, I, to some degree, I sympathize with Winston. I mean, my father, if he had just involved Winston and me more in the operations of the BelCanto, things would have been a little different, but he was just such a control freak. And Winston, of course, just resented it. I managed to find my own little niche. I managed to do my own little thing on the side. I found my own way to express myself, but Winston never did. He was so focused on the BelCanto. Anyway,
You know, my husband Michael and I, when we were first raising our kids, we always made sure to bring them to the store. We had an antique store called The War. Unfortunately, that is where my husband died. But we always made sure to bring our children to the war in order to just get them used to the place. This,
right,
of course, was in Dildo. The war in Dildo. Pride and joy, honestly.
right. Well, we tried to get Nathan very involved in whatever his grandfather was doing. I mean, this whole situation. I mean, I Nathan was very, very fond of my father. I'm not even sure why he would why he would say such a thing at his funeral, something that would be so disruptive. And now he's gone too, and this is all just so horrible. I mean, what do they say? May all our days be happy and bright. That's pretty rich, huh?
Such a rough thing to have to deal with this all at Christmas, too.
Yes.
Do you think Do you think Winston's behavior is normal? Or anybody else? Is anybody behaving a little more oddly than normal following the death of your son and your father?
And here, I think, go ahead and make the meddling move with presence.
Okay. That's an 8.
Okay, so I owe you a clue as well. And let's check in with Muriel and Alice. So I think you've kind of got everything you're going to get out of the rest your head at this point. Where would you head after that? Unless not, unless there's somebody else you want to talk to.
What are you thinking,
Other
Alice?
other
Yeah.
than maybe like trying to do some B&E on somebody's rooms, I think we would probably be done here.
Yeah.
Probably make our way towards the BelCanto or the Greaves estate if we know where the other two are.
I'm thinking, yeah, definitely BelCanto for Muriel, because we had to look around there. And like the gala, like is it currently gala time? Like it's currently going on, or is it like they're setting up for this evening?
No, it's probably like by the time you get to the BelCanto, I think it's probably going to be like it's like very, very early in the afternoon, maybe even late in the morning. So yeah, they're still kind of getting set up and stuff.
I think we need to poke around a bit.
I think that'd be the best. Yeah, I think that would be the best time for us to kind of get a look behind the scenes. You know,
I think when you arrive at BelCanto, it is a beautiful scene. Snow falling. You can hear, it's muffled, but you can hear inside the BelCanto the choir, practicing a song. So there's a little bit of Christmas music in the air. David and Celia are on a little bench. They're leaning into each other. They're snickering. They're laughing. They're having a little moment. They're catching up. It's looking great for David and Celia until a fucking reindeer walks up. Hop, 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 hop. And the reindeer has a letter, an envelope in its mouth. Celia says, "For me?" And she takes the envelope, she opens it up, and she reads it. And then we see coming out into the sea, or coming into the scene next to the reindeer, is Ches Oppenfieri wearing a black and red flannel shirt and boots. And Celia says, "Ches?" And David looks dejected and sad as Celia gets up and she has the letter. The reindeer. She's this close to doing it. She's this close to reconciling.
Come on, embrace the country living. Embrace it.
I think Alice is gonna go, "Oh no, that reindeer just shit."
We're going to end the session there
Yeah.
with our little cliffhanger. Let's go to end of session really quickly. You have not solved a mystery yet, so we'll skip that one. But Rosemary, did you show someone that you've still got it?
I think quite opposite of the fact I don't got it.
You don't got it. Did you behave like a woman half your age?
Yes, because I kept on I had a breakdown in public. Like I've just been very emotional.
I'll take it. I like that. That's a good interpretation.
Yeah, so like it's not been a good time.
Doll, did you share a memory of a late family member?
A little bit, yeah. I was sharing memories.
With the war, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you behave like a woman half your age?
I don't think I did. I can't think of any real specific instance.
Muriel, did you share your wisdom with a young person?
Oh yes, rural life.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you behave like a woman half your age?
On several occasions.
Beating the crap out of Isaiah Langmore.
Yeah.
Alice, did you show someone that you've still got it?
I don't think so.
I do think you did dote on someone though with David.
Yeah,
probably.
I did dote on David. Yeah.
And Celia to some degree too.
Yes. Yeah.
Fabulous. That's end of session. Do we have anybody who has to do a crown?
No, my crown just adjusted my stats.
Okay, very good. In that case, we'll go to the end of stars and wishes rather. So stars, things you enjoyed, wishes, things you hope to see next time. Whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I just want to go ahead and give a special shout out. I do my stars to everybody, but Rosemary, and just kind of like being once again the fucking rock. Like even though you had your little freak out moment and you played it perfectly, like still just being like the one person. Everybody else is getting pulled and sidetracked to other things, and Rosemary is there focused like a heat-seeking missile. I love it. Doll, the whole scene outside, the robots, callbacks, exquisite dildo joke today. No notes, 10 out of 10. Muriel, I love every moment that we get to see Muriel just beat the fuck out of somebody, but also the leaning into the Stardew Valley and Hallmark nature of that, just be like, no, you need to do it, it can be so fulfilling for you, is great. And then of course Jason leaning into the Hallmark movie nature of me throwing it. I just saw a recent episode of Ted Lasso. They brought up Hallmark movies. It was stuck in my brain. That's my favorite time of Christmas. My favorite pastime is to watch bad Hallmark movies. So all of that good stuff. Yeah, 10 out of 10. And my wishes is I just gotta see how this whirlwind romance works out. We gotta know, is Ches actually turning a new leaf? Or is Ches just playing into people's feelings? Who knows? Is Ches a murderer? We don't know. It could be anybody.
Yeah, I had a good time. My stars, I thought the humor was really great. I love the scene. I love the scene with Muriel failing to stop Ches from becoming a uh, uh, a country living guy. Um, the obviously this mystery is very much inspired by Hallmark movies, and so it was really fun to kind of play with all those little elements. But it's also kind of interesting because you have these murder elements as well that get woven into it, so that's really fun. Um, the the encounter with the midwives was really interesting, and the midwives attacking the BelCanto, that was really great. And I only did that because you all got to 10 void clues basically in a hurry. That was a really challenging little sequence for me because I suddenly had 3 clues and 3 12 pluses to cope with. And so I was like, oh shit. And so I was trying to thread that needle and figure out how it was going to play out in a hurry. That's why I took that one break, because I was like, oh man, I got to think about this for a minute. But I think we kind of got to a good place on it. Really enjoyed Gerald and seeing Doll's house. That was a lot of fun. Just good time all around. Really excited to see how this one turns out and what the solution is.
Yeah, definite stars for me are going to be the how creepy that got with the servitor introduced. The second you came back from break and you said, I just had to roll some dice, my brain went, roll some dice? The keeper doesn't roll any dice. The only thing that there's dice for is, oh no. Is what my brain did. And I was like, it was terrifying. And the way you narrated that was really awesome. So that was great.
Yeah, when I want to go start of those dice, because I rolled the one that gives you like the goat-headed man, and I was like, oh, Krampus, that's perfect, right? Like it was a total like Krampus moment. So just by happenstance, which is great.
Yeah, no, definite star to Amanda, not just for the impeccable dildo jokes, but also for the commercial as well was really funny and off-putting. I really enjoyed the shadow in the garden things people have been like incorporating into their narratives of just here are some creepy off things. So that was great. Yeah, Alice, God, the whole thing we've set up here with Alice and Muriel gunning for different like candidates for the romance is so funny to me. I was so happy when you started leaning into the Hallmark movie stuff, because I was thinking about it too. So that was really fantastic all around. And yeah, Rosemary just kind of being like out of control a little bit is really a fun change of pace, and it was really awesome to see you lean into that chaotic, because like usually she's so like I kind of like I'm not necessarily level-headed, but like at least kind of like on game of keeping things roughly on a track. This time she was just fully out of it. So yeah, definite wishes for wanting to see where this mystery goes, seeing how much more trouble we can possibly get in with the midwives. And also we have not used the Gold Crown Mysteries move at all, other than the one time we used it before. So I really definitely want to see
I'd like to see some more of that.
More of that for sure.
I really liked how like the tones sort of bounce all over the place of like going from like oh no, there's been a murder mystery, and like the typical Brindlewood Bay sort of tone, and then it got really creepy, and then it went back up to like, oh, we're splitting off to like doing the murder mystery, but also we're in a Hallmark movie now. Sorry about that, everybody, but we're like like it's just gonna be all over the place. Also, star for you, Jason, for keeping us on track when we really want to have conversations that go nowhere. So like it's a really good pace about like, okay, the conversation has reached a lull. Let's move on and fast forward through the scene. Gotta give a star for that commercial, Amanda. And a wish, I'm looking really forward to exploring the estate a little bit more, especially with Winston, because like it feels like he's most likely the murderer at this point, or at least he's involved somehow. So
I don't actually have any like good theories to start off with. So this is gonna be really fun next session. Stars, of course, Alex. That was hilarious. That whole bit suddenly, oh, I am so into convincing you to be part of this Hallmark movie. It was so funny. I also, Wes, I really loved how much into this B plot that Alice is enforcing this Hallmark movie to happen. And anytime even something remotely related that could be a trope in a Hallmark movie, your eyes just lit up. It was so great. And I just was very excited the whole time. I loved Rosemary's breakdown at seeing the eyes on the trees. I think this might be one of the first times that Rosemary's ever been by herself experiencing something really, really creepy since we started rolling lots of or getting lots of void clues. So I think it's really indicative of what's going to start happening for all the Mavens as we start to experience this more creepy stuff. And I'm really looking forward to that. Um, yeah, all of this has just been so much fun. Star to Mads Turley for writing this. She's gonna lose her mind at this B plot Hallmark movie thing. She's gonna love it. So I'm very excited for her to watch this. Yeah, I love all of this. My wish, I guess, is for an occult move to happen.
Yeah,
That's what I want to
have
happen.
not had one yet. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what the angle might be to get in there and do that.
Somebody just upped her sensitivity.
Woohoo.
We're leaning into the weird.
Love it.
A selfish jar. I just love just like in the background of my mind, Rosemary just in a t-shirt and shorts the entire time.
We're both doing July and Christmas today, so yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, and last additional star to Wes for the easily glanced over but genius line of "We can kill 2 turtle doves with 1 stone."
That was very good. Yeah, it was a great line.
For doing
So
stars for
good.
great lines, Blitzenberger was great.
Blitzenberger was
Blitzenberger
so
great,
good.
top notch.
That whole phone conversation.
Oh god,
I kind of just
so
want to see.
funny.
I was like, how long can Jason just riff? Let's go.
The little like him like messing up IPO and saying IPA. That's actually from this little I don't know if you all, there's this guy on YouTube, this comedian who does like, you know, these little like videos, and one of it that he does is like the finance bro like video, and he always like says IPA instead of IPO. It's good stuff. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I think we will go ahead and say goodbye to everyone watching the video. Goodbye, everyone watching the video.